Oh yeah, it's good to see my face. It's good to see my face. Hi business creators, it's Claire from Clara, and today we're talking about another potential block for your visibility, which is overwhelm when it comes to thinking about content marketing. Because there are so many things, so many ways you can be visible online, but that list of all the different places, all the different methods can quickly become overwhelming and you end up doing nothing. So is that overwhelm blocking you being visible? That's the question we're going to address today. So as I said, content marketing comes with so many shoulds. You should be in all the places on all the platforms. You should be repurposing your content. You shouldn't be using the same content at the same time on different platforms. You should be optimizing your content for the different platforms. You should be covering all these specific things. And don't forget the favorite, you should be posting all the time. Now, if you weren't already overwhelmed, a little bit of research into effective content marketing will quickly take you to overwhelm because of all these rules. Like you could learn 10,000 things and still only have scratched the surface. Like we're talking about platforms, your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, multi-networks, Twitter, YouTube, blogging, podcasting, decentralized platforms. Is Clubhouse still a thing? I never actually got started. But then also within those, there are like these sub platforms. So within Instagram, it's not just feed posts, but we've got stories and you've got reels and you've got lives and carousels and hashtag strategies. So even within one, you can really get lost in the depth of that platform and researching how to use it best. Then you have all the things you should be doing, like all the content buckets you should be covering: educating, entertaining, engaging. We have like call to action strategies. We have tracking your metrics, which is something I don't do. Testing and tweaking, making the most of your content by scheduling it out in advance to be reshared 3 months and 6 months later. Repurposing so you don't have to come up with ideas. That I'm sure you've heard of these already. My intention is not to overwhelm you. Because we then remember, and actually I have to create the content for these platforms. You have to figure out what you're going to say, what your audience want and need to hear, and then how does that tie in with your messaging, your services and your promotion, and figure out how frequently you're going to do all of that and where on earth you are going to find the time. So how can we actually make it less overwhelming? Like if you've subscribed to any of these ideas, any of these rules, and you're thinking, well, I can't do Facebook posts until I have all this stuff sorted. I can't post on Instagram unless I have a hashtag strategy, and that stops you. That is blocking your visibility. So how can you make it less overwhelming so you may actually get some content published and then generate some of those leads and clients from the audience you build and serve? So my main tip around this is to think of it like a journey. So in all honesty, you're not going to go from zero posts, zero consistency to posting 7 times a week, every week from now until forever. Like the analogy is you don't go from not having ridden a bike for years to signing up for the Tour de France. You work your way towards the goal, one step, one pedal at a time. Firstly, you have to find the bike and pump up the tires and oil the chain. Then you may go for some short rides. You may need to get like the gears fixed. Then you may go from progressively longer rides. Maybe you need to upgrade your bike to one of those fancy carbon fiber ones, and then add in some supplementary weight training, for example, etc., etc. So you start where you are and you build on that slowly. So it's the same with content marketing. You build slowly, and like slowly is relative, but you start where you are and you work progressively to where you want to go. Like, of course, it would be great to start with repurposing content to get the maximum value from it. If you don't know how to do that and it's holding you back from publishing, then simply making one post a week is where you could start, where you should start. I hate to give you shoulds. Like, make that one post the best post it can be. Then when you have that, consider adding a second post in for the week. So this slowly scale is the first part of the journey. Now you may start with a written blog like I did and then add a podcast or video version when you've nailed the written part. If video is easier for you, maybe you start with a video. Start with a regular. Remember, that doesn't have to be daily or weekly. It can be once a fortnight, it can be once a month. And then work backwards from that towards a written blog if that's a goal for you and if you think that is what your audience want. Like, it's the same with sending email newsletters. Start with sending one email once a month. Then maybe when you have that nailed, you could move it to fortnightly or weekly if you wish, because there are no rules. There are guides, there's some best practice, but once a month with a high value email may actually be more worthwhile for your audience than that same content spread over 4 emails across 4 weeks. And if you look online, not everybody sends a weekly email. Large, professional, well-respected businesses, and I can think of a few, don't send weekly emails. They send monthly emails or fortnightly emails. So the slowly scale also starts to build momentum. You start with what you already know. That's how you start, regardless of whether you know 10 things or 100 things. You're still starting with what you know, and you can only build momentum when you start. That's the only way to build momentum, is by starting. The first step is to start. And I'll also say you learn a heck of a lot in the doing, in the publishing posts, in the scheduling content, not just by theorizing. You'll learn a heck of a lot about hashtags and which ones work for you by publishing them, not by researching them. Plus, I'm going to say you get a whole lot more efficient when you've done something multiple times, many times. When I started recording this video version of the blog for YouTube, it took way longer than it does now. So it's a practice, makes things more efficient. You learn what works, what doesn't work, and how to make it quicker. So simply to sum up this journey of where you are is where you start. Let go of the expectations of doing every single thing possible, because that is a quick recipe to overwhelm. Let go of the idea of doing it perfectly, also a quick recipe for overwhelm. And also let go of the idea of doing it in the least amount of time possible, because that's just unrealistic and an unfair expectation to set. Everything is a work in progress, you and your business included. So if this video has been useful, I'd love you to give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, what overwhelm could you remove from your content marketing? What rule is it that you could let go of that would make it easier for you to show up and be visible online? Now, you can subscribe for more content like this on visibility, imposter syndrome, and mindset for solopreneurs. And if you want to see what's holding you back from being consistently visible online, like what's the thing, what's the rule that I've subscribed to unconsciously that is stopping me from showing up, then reach out and we can chat that over in a free discovery session.